Welcome to this explainer. Okay, picture this. You are walking through a Nigerian market. Maybe you're at a local boutique or even just scrolling through an online store. I am almost positive you've seen it. That bold, honestly kind of intimidating sign plastered right there on the wall or stamped across the bottom of your receipt. Goods sold are not returnable, or no refund of money after payment. Well, today, we're taking those signs and we are completely shattering them. We're going to use plain, everyday English to dive straight into the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Act of 2018. By the time we're done, you'll know exactly why that old market myth is, quite frankly, legally powerless. Here is our roadmap for today. 1. The no refund myth. 2. Your right to a refund. 3. The law in action. 4. How businesses are protected. And finally, 5. The law protects everyone. Let's just dive right in.
Section 1. The no refund myth.
Now, the Federal Republic of Nigeria Gazette birthed our ultimate mythbuster. I'm talking about the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Act, or the FCCPA of 2018. And listen, this is not just some light suggestion or a set of guidelines. It's a heavy-hitting federal law, specifically built from the ground up to protect everyday consumers from getting cheated. We've all felt that sinking feeling, right? Those non-returnable signs can be incredibly discouraging. They make you feel totally trapped the exact second the cash leaves your hands. So how does the law actually fight back? Well, under Sections 127 and 129 of the FCCPA, any sign, any receipt, or any document someone forces you to sign that tries to strip away your right to a refund is deemed void. What does void mean in the real world? It means it has absolutely zero legal power. Literally, none. The law treats that no refund sign like it simply does not exist. And it gets better. Section 127 goes as far as saying that forcing a buyer to keep a completely useless product while the seller just pockets the cash is an unfair business practice. So no, you cannot be trapped by a printed piece of paper.
Moving on to Section 2, your right to a refund.
The crucial thing to remember here is that you don't just have one vague, generalized right. You have a whole toolkit of highly specific statutory rights laid out from Section 120 straight through to 132. For example, Section 120 gives you the explicit right to cancel an advance order. Section 121, that one is a massive game changer. It gives you the right to actually inspect any item you buy right when it's delivered. If it's not what you ordered, you can reject it right then and there. But what if the product is faulty? Well, Sections 122 and 132 step in, giving you the direct right to demand a full cash refund if a product is damaged or dangerous. Section 131 even slaps a 6-month automatic guarantee on the quality of goods. Oh, and it is not just physical items either. Section 130 makes sure that if a tailor, a mechanic, or any service provider does a sloppy job or delays things unnecessarily, you absolutely have the right to demand your money back.
Section 3. The law in action. Now, you might be sitting there thinking, okay, sounds great on paper, but does this actually work in Nigeria? Oh, it definitely does. Let's look at the case of Patrick Chukwuma versus Peace Mass Transit Limited. Imagine this. You pay a 500 naira bus fare. You sit in the bus for over 2 long hours, and the driver just refuses to leave because the bus isn't completely full. Frustrating, right? Well, Patrick got fed up, stepped off the bus, and asked for his 500 naira back. The transport company pointed straight to their no refund after payment receipt. But the court stepped in and essentially laughed at that policy. Because the company delayed the trip unnecessarily, the court forced them to not only refund the tiny 500 naira fare, but actually ordered them to pay a whopping 500,000 naira in compensation. Their strict internal policy meant absolutely nothing in the face of the law.
Next up, consider Kezi Best Obalor versus Dana Airlines Limited. Have you ever made a tiny, silly typo when booking a ticket online? We all have. In this case, a simple misspelled flight ticket turned into a huge legal battle. The airline tried to rely on their rigid, non-refundable rules to keep the customer's money after outright denying them boarding. The court tackled this head-on, proving once and for all that massive companies simply cannot use inflexible internal rules to unfairly penalize consumers for minor errors. You can't just keep their funds over a typo.
And hey, this legal shield extends to digital platforms as well. In Adam Ewa Akeng versus Wakanow.com Limited, the consumer's right to cancel an advance booking was put to the ultimate test. When a booking got canceled, the company tried its hardest to withhold the funds. The court ruled decisively that consumers are legally protected from losing their money in these exact scenarios. The takeaway, you are not trapped just because you clicked book.
Finally, we have Ben Onawura versus MultiChoice Nigeria Limited, the operators behind DSTV. The company unfairly disconnected a customer's service and then tried to hide behind their one-sided terms and conditions to dodge giving a refund or even a free extension. What was the court's response?
they punished the company heavily. The judge ordered MultiChoice to restore the subscription, add free days to cover the lost time, and slap them with 5 million naira in damages. These real-world cases prove that the FCPA has some very serious teeth.
All right, shifting gears to Section 4, how businesses are protected.
Now, if you are a business owner listening to this, you might be getting a little worried. You might think the law leaves you completely defenseless against difficult buyers who just want to cause trouble. But don't worry, the law is actually a brilliant balancing act. On one side of the scale, if it's the seller's fault, meaning you delivered a defective item, the completely wrong item, or genuinely bad service, the buyer is entitled to 100% full cash refund. However, on the other side of the scale, under Sections 121 and 122, if the buyer ruins the item through their own carelessness, if they tamper with it, or act recklessly in your shop, you owe them absolutely nothing. 0% refund. If a customer drops and breaks an item while they're inspecting it, they are legally on the hook to pay for it. The law doesn't reward clumsy or malicious buyers.
Furthermore, remember earlier when we said a buyer has the right to cancel an advance order? Well, Section 120 steps in to protect businesses by allowing them to charge a reasonable cancellation fee. Now, what exactly makes a fee reasonable? Think of it like a sliding scale. If a customer cancels a custom catering job 2 full weeks in advance, your penalty fee has to be relatively low, right? Because you still have plenty of time to find another customer. But if they cancel 10 minutes before delivery, causing you a direct financial hit on something like perishable goods, you are legally justified in charging a much, much higher fee to cover your actual costs. You just can't keep 100% of the money unless your actual provable loss equals 100%.
But hold on. It is absolutely vital to know that there is one incredibly strict exception to this rule. Section 120, subsection 3, lays out the special medical exception. A business cannot charge any cancellation fee whatsoever, not a single naira, if the consumer is forced to cancel an order because the person who was supposed to use the goods or service suffered an unexpected death or hospitalization. In these tragic situations, the law essentially mandates basic human empathy.
Which brings us to our final section, Section 5. The law protects everyone. The big takeaway from this entire explainer is actually super simple. Customers have the absolute right to request refunds, and businesses have valid options to protect themselves. The law protects everyone. Sellers simply can't hide behind illegal no-refund signs, but buyers also can't abuse the system by trying to return items they broke themselves. The FCPA of 2018 ensures that the Nigerian marketplace isn't just some chaotic Wild West, but a structured environment where fair play is a legal requirement, not an option.
So that wraps up our deep dive. But before we go, I want to leave you with a question to chew on. Next time you see a no refund sign hanging in a shop window, or a customer asks for a return in your own store, how will you use the knowledge of the FCCPA 2018 to ensure fair play? Remember, knowledge is only power if you actually use it. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. If you found this breakdown valuable, please hit the YouTube notification icon, drop a comment sharing your own wild refund experiences, and make sure to subscribe to the We in Law channel for more empowering legal breakdowns. See you next time.